Warning. The following program contains elements of nuance, sarcasm, and satire. If you are unfamiliar with these terms, it's highly suggested you pick up a dictionary or do a quick Google search. Some names have been redacted to protect the identities of all parties involved. Listener discretion advised.
I don't know. I bet she doesn't even give head.
So, we are rolling.
So, yes.
If this goes on YouTube, we have to blur that out.
You can't edit. No. You can say.
Can you?
Yes,
Okay.
you can say. You're turning into the Shanghai room real fast, and I don't like it.
So, anyways, I'm here today. My name is Stephen Michael James. I'm a comedian in Seattle. I'm here with my friend Rob Conroy. Rob Conroy, also, he's a mentor to me, a comedian mentor.
Yeah, comedian.
He's taught me a lot in the last 14 months. It's been quite
it's been that long.
It's been quite a journey. And
what have I taught you, Stephen? Let's
go
ahead and call your bluff.
Okay,
right now.
let's talk about it. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna take these headphones off. Hopefully the mic doesn't cut out there, but so yeah, definitely. You've taught me a lot of things. I think one is to be yourself.
Yes.
That's one. Two is to be fearless, no matter who thinks they can cancel you.
Okay, because I was going to say I'm very scared of dying alone, and it's going to happen.
Yeah. And I would say number three, nothing matters or everything is connected. One of the two. I'm not really sure.
It's both. It's both.
But, so the reason I'm doing this now, everyone's like, why? I mean, we need another podcast. Well, the truth is, me and Rob, we want to be successful white comedians. And in order to do that, you have to start a podcast, you know.
It's impossible to be a successful white comedian. Like, there's a lot of Asian comics that I've heard lately that are like, oh, it's so hard to be an Asian comic in Seattle. And I'm like, yeah, if you're not funny, it's very
easy to get a spot.
Yeah,
you know,
it's actually very easy. And actually, we don't call them Asians anymore. There's a new term. It's Orientex. Orientex.
I mean,
that sounds like
it's progressive.
Yeah, sounds like Orientex Mex.
But yeah, man. So I think it's very important that that people get to know the people behind the jokes. And I don't know how you feel, but I know, at least for me, I think that there's possibly some wrong ideas of who we are. Behind the scenes. That there's rumors that go around. We are. I'm going to try and stop saying that thing, but. We are, we are above open mic. I know it's a hard thing to say. We are above the open mic level, but we're definitely not at the professional level. And so, how are we going to break through that professional level?
So what level is that called? Delusional?
Yeah,
because we are at the. I mean, even Andy Harder said. We always make fun of Adam Tiller. We can't blur these names out because we're only talking. First of all,
if it's a compliment, we're not going to blur it. Yeah, we're not going to
fellow whites, and we can't blur them out. But no, Andy Harder we were making fun of Adam Tiller, and in love, of course, because he's the best.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like I said that sarcastically, but he's actually like one of my faves. I always talk about him. But
Adam, you are really good. You're like one of the nicest guys ever that really just give a lot of opening act opportunities to open mic comedians.
He's a good one. And he's also just like very nice. But anyways, but he always bumps people. That's his one flaw. His flaw is that he's a bumper.
Yeah. You should change his name to Adam Bumper. Adam Tilter. He's tilting you out of line so he can get up there. Yeah.
Oh man, we got. I think yeah. So actually, we're below open micers.
Yeah.
I realized. But no. So anyways, Adam or Andy, you know, we were making fun of him, but he's like, Andy's like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I don't believe in bumping anybody because like we're all open micers. Like, you know, no matter what we think, we're not opening for people all the time. And actually, I don't know what Adam's up to right now. He actually could be. He could be at that level now. So like, props to you. But yeah, man. Andy Harder was even like, you know, we got to remember we're open micers, and Andy's been doing it for a long time, and he's like open for Tony Hinchcliffe, and he still considers himself an open micer. So if he does, we're open micers who do who produce. We're producers.
Yes, open producers.
Yes.
I do like Andy Harder. I feel like every time that I perform, he looks at me like I'm the most disgusting thing on earth.
Yeah, that's what he does, though.
But you know, I think we've had some fair, friendly exchanges.
He said I had a really good set at 4B's one time. It was the same night.
4B's, wow! I can't believe anybody could have a good set there.
It was the same night that I brought this girl there, which is that's a mistake. And she goes, I didn't even ask for her fucking input. And she goes, oh, it seemed like a lot of people thought you were funny. But also, they look like your friends. I was like, thank you. That's probably the best compliment I've gotten in comedy in a long time.
They seemed like they liked you.
Yeah, you seemed funny, like people thought you were funny. You didn't even seem funny. It seemed like people thought you were funny. They didn't even, yeah. Thank you, whatever your name is.
So let's not talk about the successful. Who do you think is the person in comedy right now that makes you laugh the most? Who's the funniest to you personally?
The funniest comedian I know, I think right now is probably Ben Shapiro. He is very funny. He's Jewish, which is those Jews, they've nailed down. They know how to do three things. They know how to do comedy. They know how to run the world, and they also know how to run stuff underneath the world. Apparently,
well, I was going to say
tunnels now.
I was going to say I thought you were going to say that they're really good at nailing things.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that story. I actually think Jesus was a trans woman. I'm not even kidding. It's not like a joke. Actually,
I mean, if Jesus is God and God is man, woman,
yeah. Well,
child.
I actually saw a clip on YouTube where this trans woman was like, actually, God is non-binary, and then like took like 3 Bible quotes and explained how God is non-binary. And I was like, that makes sense because non-binary seem to run
everything,
Seattle, at least. Yeah. If you told a joke about Israel Palestine that was sexist, you're a racist, and I'm going to get you banned from the mic that you were began.
I'll be honest. So explain exactly what happened. You don't have to say the joke. You don't have to say the person. But basically, my understanding is that you were performing. Somebody wasn't happy with your performance.
Yeah, I was talking about there's a protest on the freeway.
Yeah,
for
which I was there.
Yeah,
me and PJ.
Thank
me
you.
and PJ were front and center for.
Yeah,
it's actually there's this new political movement that we started, and it's called Stopping Freeways for Palestine.
Yeah,
and so we're starting in Seattle. We're gonna work our way down to Portland. And then hopefully, Los Angeles, baby.
Yeah, I think they'll really like that there, especially in LA.
Yeah,
because
they don't have enough traffic there already. On the 405 and
that's another thing. I was doing basically a cliche comedian traffic joke where I was talking about there's a lot of traffic. I mean, honestly, it wasn't. She said it was racist. I don't know how it was racist. I thought it was sexist. I was basically saying like I thought it was funny that a bunch of women were blocking the freeway when in Palestine women aren't allowed to drive or something like that. And it was very sexist of a joke. And so I was, first of all, quite offended that I got labeled as racist when I'm not racist, I'm sexist.
Yeah.
You know?
I could never call you racist because you like black people more than white people.
I do love black. I mean I really do.
I mean, I could just tell. I mean, the hip hop culture is ingrained in you from a very early age.
Yeah.
You know, like I look at you, I don't see a guy that grew up on Metallica.
No.
You know,
It's like,
I don't.
and I'll like, as you know, I listen to like literally mumble rap, which is something I was trying to like think of a joke like that too. Like, I think it's funny when people like bump mumble rap. They should do it like an adult and listen to it in secret and shame, like I do.
Well, I will say, based on, what you said about this banning, the thing that really I think is the most annoying part is nobody contacted you directly from the establishment.
Then they have my number.
They talked to a friend of you to spread the message to you to say, hey, don't come back. Not even like a warning, not even because you've had such close involvement with putting on shows and running the mics and whatever situations have happened during these mics, being the host there, you have to be the person in control.
Well, it was the second.
You weren't just a random person.
Right.
You had a relationship with the people who ran this place.
And this was definitely a tame set. I mean, like I said, it was. I was talking about the freeway protest, and I definitely said like something along the lines of like, oh, I think it's funny that it was mostly women and they're not allowed to drive, something like that. But the other one that I'd already gotten a warning though, which is why they like started doing like, oh, you need to make a concerted effort to like not be a phobe. And I was just making fun of Scott Coburn, who's a fellow comedian, and he has 5 kids, and part of his sets are like how they're all gay and non-binary.
Yeah.
And I was like, you had 5 kids and you couldn't make one normal one. And it was really just a joke to Scott, who's a friend, and he liked it. Scott laughed. And then next thing I know, there's like that really offended somebody. And
like a trans.
Don't you go by queer anyways? Isn't queer the antithesis of normal?
Yeah, I was gonna say like, I'm sorry, it's not offensive, but trans is not normal because normal is what we're born as.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to say that as like I'm just saying biologically,
Yeah.
And I don't want to say as well either. That's such a fucking annoying thing that I do. But
well, yeah, don't get too inward.
Trans people are human. Straight cis people are human. But as far as normal, traditionally, if we're talking about what is traditionally normal, it's not. And I don't really find that joke is that offensive. I've heard much worse at the Shanghai Room from other people, including myself.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fine. I think people get like, I don't know. I think people think that I'm like way more cockier and like douchier than I am. I'm just really good at doing that on stage, but I'm actually not that bad of a person. I'm good enough of a person to tell you that I'm not a great person. But I think that people like. I think there's this it seems to be more leftist people for some reason. I think they're less. They don't think as much. They're just like because like we have a predominantly left pushing narrative in the media and stuff. So obviously that person isn't. They don't think. They just like do what they're told. So they're not thinking like, oh, maybe this guy is pantomiming. Maybe when he goes up there, he's actually like making fun of the people that he's talking like. Like, could I ever consider that? No, because I don't have the power of consideration.
There's nuance. There is all sorts of, there's all sorts of different elements to what makes a joke funny. I have a joke about Down syndrome people, and I had somebody that was very upset about me telling it, and really the joke isn't even about Down syndrome people. It's about
how stupid you were. It's about how retarded you were as a kid.
Yes. I think we passed the 10-minute part, yeah. Retarded's another word that I was asking my wife about it. I said, I don't really feel like it's offensive. I was talking about the whole Shane Gillis thing and how it's such a big moment in comedy, and because of what's happening in Seattle and the comedians getting rescheduled, that paired with the Shane Gillis thing is what the story they packaged together about what can you say and what you can't say in comedy. And the reason why I feel like it's so relevant is because I know a guy locally who is not allowed to go somewhere because of something he said. We have other friends that aren't allowed to go other places because something he said. And then we have friends that can't go places for reasons that we don't even understand.
Because they're black.
Yeah. Or because
they're black and they're named Femi.
Or because they laugh too loud.
Oh, yeah, that's a Mexican.
Or because, for whatever reason, you defend somebody that...
that's my favorite, is somebody was laughing too loud at a comedy club and they got banned.
Yeah.
That's there's no laughter allowed at this comedy club. That's why it's the same comedy club that banned comics before they got canceled before they even performed. That's the same comedy club that doesn't allow laughter.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. That's I wish I could go there, but I'm laughing too hard.
Yeah. The thing about that place too is I've been there twice. I went to the open mic on a Friday night, and so maybe I'm not the best judge of what kind of audience they bring in, because I have seen like the tail end of the Friday night shows, and there have been some people there, but ultimately it was just not a very good comedy experience. There wasn't a lot of people there. I could get more people at the Shanghai Room or Tony V's. And then because of I really started to think about like what really makes what's their deal, and I think it's just they don't like masculinity. It's not even, it has nothing to do with racism or sexism. They do like
masculinity if it comes from somebody who has a vagina.
Yeah, I guess so. But if you look at the guys that regularly perform there, and I mean, these are not like guys that I would trust to help me build a fence. You know, these are guys that I would definitely ask to fix the virus on my computer, but they're not going to help me pick up a car. They're not going to help me pull a car out of a ditch.
And,
so,
and if you can tell by looking at us, we both have very firm grasps on masculinity.
We are absolutely the manliest of men.
Yes,
but like you said, it's not even.
We have sunglasses on.
Yeah,
you can't get any more manly than
exactly.
that.
Like you can't even see how manly these eyes are because this camera's
They're
not.
It's
not even designed to handle it because it was made in China and they blur out their Oh wait, I think that's Japan. But somebody blurs out their pubic hair in.
Is it pubic?
Asia.
I thought it was vagina. I mean, I love it when I'm watching a good Asian porn, and then I'm like, and then they go to the pussy and it's just like blurry. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's
yeah. There was this
nice blurry. That's what a pussy is. It's a blurry pussy.
There was this lady, and she's like a pretty, I don't know, well known, but she's been a comedian in this area for a long time and seems pretty clean, like a cleanish type comic. And I said, "Is it true your pubic hair is pixelated?" She laughed, so hey, I don't feel bad about it.
Well, I remember as a kid, I feel like there's that whole sideways vagina joke. Like Asians have a sideways vagina, so maybe that's like where it came from. Because like they're like, why can't it's like so blurry and pixelated it looks sideways or something.
You know, doing it again.
You got.
I gotta.
No, you just stop. If you don't point it out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna blur. I'm just gonna blur it every time I do it. You and I are really close to the same age. So do you remember prior to digital cable, they had the scrambled up channels, the adult channels? I feel like that was a memorable moment in time that certain generations are never going to understand because sometimes, so basically what you would do is you would go to this channel, right, you didn't pay for it. So they would scramble it somehow. They would electronically scramble the channel so you could see part of it, but there would be like this moving line in the center that would try to blur the image out. It would change the colors. Every once in a while, though, this would be the Spice Channel in particular, somehow the scramble technology wouldn't work correctly, and it would show the actual scene on the Spice Channel, but it would be like a blue tint.
I mean, but there's here's something homoerotic, more proof of my
masculinity.
Yes, my masculinity here. No, me and my friend Matt Somerville, he actually figured out a way you could take a paper clip and you could like jam it into the like antenna part of the TV, and we would get it where it would be like majority not blurry. Like a lot of times you'd see the pussy and the tits, but like the head would be blurred or whatever.
Yeah.
And we would take turns, and I'd be like, I'd be like, oh, turn it to the left, like guy adjusting antenna while I jerked off, and then once I finished, he would jerk off while I did it.
Yeah, jerking off in the same room with another guy is always a weird experience. Happened at least once or twice in my life.
Oh yeah,
the early days though, not later.
Yeah. No, I mean except for like later today.
After
this podcast.
Except when I was with Nick Cody last night.
Yeah.
But he had a few beers and couldn't handle.
Well, yeah, he really opens up about it.
Yeah. He's jerking off. But back to the matter at hand. We're talking about canceled comedians here.
Yeah.
It's interesting where we're at right now and where Seattle is, because I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing with what's happening in the news. I know it's only further going to put Seattle, the image of Seattle to everybody else in the world as this funnyless, humorless piece of shit city that you should always avoid.
Resentful gays running around, prancing around, and being very angry and not a fan of comedy whatsoever, like not a fan of laughter. You know what's funny is that girl or whatever she identifies as that got me banned, I guess she continues to go to the Shanghai room, and they freaked her out because she was like, oh, I just love comedy so much, except for this one guy who thankfully I got banned, and then they got really mad at her, so that was nice to get some support from the fellow comedians. They're like, you got Rob Conroy banned, and then she got intimidated. And then she banned them too.
Well, with everything pointing, with Seattle being painted as a humorless city, obviously it means that the real comedians out there that are making a living, that are successful, are going to avoid it, and then it's really ultimately going to hurt everybody here who's trying to do something with comedy, because...
Well, no, it's not. The people that aren't funny are going to do great. And there's a lot of
I certainly hope so, but...
It could be like the gold rush. Everybody migrates to Seattle. Everybody who's not funny is like, I'm going to make it in Seattle.
Or Seattle just becomes the LGBT Austin, Texas, where... everybody who is queer and does comedy decides that this is the hub.
Yeah, it's
because it already kind of seems like that right now.
Yeah, everybody who wants to call things gay, they go to Austin, and everybody who's gay and wants to call things, I know. And everybody who says things are gay and wants to get away with it will go to Nate Jackson's at Tuesday night because there's only about 7 people there. I was loving when Nate Jackson was making fun of non-binary people. I was like good job. This is why I prefer blacks.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not afraid to speak their mind, and a lot of them are very homophobic.
Well, I do have a few jokes that kind of touch a little bit on race and black people, and people get really nervous when I say that kind of stuff, but our black friends that hear these jokes, they love it. They get excited, and I think they're like, yeah, this guy's willing to take risks. And I'm not seeing a lot of risks being taken lately.
Yeah, that's because you get banned right away.
Absolutely. All right, now this is now
bore you.
So I'll edit that little middle section out. But now here's where we're gonna get. This is where we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna blur out a lot of names here. Who is the first comedian that was a dick to you in Seattle? Not talking about the people at Giggles back in the day. I'm talking about when you started doing comedy again just a couple of years ago.
Oh man, dude, I don't even know. It's really more like I hear he was a real bitch.
And what did she say?
I said I really like I said I really like women who have borderline personality disorder. And then she's like, well, maybe you're gay or something. Like, and that's another thing that these fucking liberals will do is they will call you gay as they will like, if you say something that they deem as homophobic or whatever, they will call you gay, but in the most like resentful, condescending way, almost as if they're gay bash, like saying it's bad to be gay. Like, so that's just like, well, maybe you're just a gay. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty homophobic of you to like, maybe I am gay. I jerked off with Matt Somerville a bunch of times.
I got a DM from sister. I commented.
She was a bitch to me the other day.
I was gonna say I commented on something and it said something about like. I said like being left-handed and being gay is the same thing, and then she said something like your parents must have beat you, like like trying to I was like, all right, cool.
I deserved it. I don't know what I was thinking. I slid into her DMs, which I do with female comics sometimes, and hey, it's
fun. I like
it's got
doing
a success rate, so why not? But I think what happens, I have too many twisted T's, and then next thing I know, I'm in the DMs, and I don't even know why. It's not. I don't have like any real intentions, but I mean, I do obviously, but like they're very, very like minute. It's more just like I feel like getting rejected today. But anyways, yeah, I was just like, or this is like I hit her up for some reason, and then she was just like really like overly bitchy. I'm like, oh, did you hear that I sexually assaulted somebody or what? Like, why do you hate me so much? Because I wasn't being like a weird creep about it either. I was like, it was actually like, oh hey, I like remember when you did this construction work joke, and I'm doing a construction project or something. I don't know. But it wasn't. It didn't deserve the treatment I got.
Well, honestly, I did actually kind of like her comedy. I've seen her a couple times.
There's another very masculine. She should go to Comedy Bar. Talk about. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh wait, are we still talking about?
Are you saying?
Yeah, that moved on to her. Yeah, I haven't seen her do comedy ever. No.
Yeah.
But no, comedy was okay. But she decided that she wanted to start roasting me without ever saying hi to me, and then.
Oh yeah.
And then canceled the show, so I never got to talk to her. But I love you, and I'm a big fan of yours, and you inspired me.
You're hot if you keep your mouth
I could
shut.
tell you the first person that was kind of a dick to me was.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why. I think I was at A1 Hop Shop, just whatever, telling crappy jokes, and then he just decided to start heckling.
Oh.
So
here's
I just decided, okay, I guess that's who you're gonna be. And then I saw him at Laughs the night that you were there, and he bombed horribly.
Oh, he's right after me too.
Yeah, he bombed horribly,
right
and then tried to do crowd work, and I was like, "Where's the jokes? Where's the jokes?" And that's where I'm starting to get really annoyed with a lot of people that I watch.
There's this other comic who's digging me. I forget. She doesn't do comedy anymore though, and I forget her fucking name. It was Rachel. Yeah, you can keep her this one.
No, I've seen. No, she showed up to. So David invited me to this like rooftop thing because he was dating some girl who lived there, and so Femi, PJ, Ponch, J Marks, and El Maj were there. Then Dino Dad showed up, but she was there, and she was like pregnant and didn't do comedy. And then I think somebody said something about her. Said something about her, and then she disappeared.
So one time she's like, I look like, she said she looks like this is so funny. It was at A1 Hop Shop, and she's like, my body's more like a white, she was like comparing people's bodies or something on stage, and she's like, my body's more like a White Claw can, tall can. It's thin and tall or whatever. And then Femi goes, ha! And then she's like, what the fuck, Femi? And Femi's like, I did nothing wrong. Let me
just make sure we didn't lose our mic there. Hello? Hey. Talk?
Yeah.
Okay, we're still there.
All right. You can't be loud.
No, sometimes when you scream too loud, it'll blow out the channel. But
so that was amazing.
It'll blow it out just like PJ's pussy.
That's a blurry Asian pussy.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know. So I went up and I actually told this joke about getting molested by. I wasn't a joke. It was just a rant about getting molested by my aunt. And this is like 3 weeks into comedy. I didn't know anybody. I was like, I would go up and bomb all the time. And this is the first time I got the comedians to laugh. And like, they were just like in stitches. It was like how my aunt molested me and then promised me a Game Boy if I didn't keep a virtual boy.
Oh, virtual boy.
And I was like, and she never got it for me, so I'm still waiting for my virtual boy, and like it was like all the people comics were laughing and felt really good. I was like, oh, I finally won some of them over. And then she goes up there and she's like, yeah, you got a lot of laughs, no punchlines though. And then, but like I was looking at her like Instagram, and one of her jokes was about Roe versus Wade, and she was like, if I don't know about this Roe versus Wade, because like some people need to like go across a river to a different state to get an abortion, they might have to row or wade across that river. And I was like, that is the worst fucking punchline I have ever heard. That was like beyond hack.
Yeah, that's kind of like. What'd you say? Did you just say you dumb?
Yeah. Rover.
You
like,
dub.
That's your fucking. That is like the first thing that came to your mind when you're talking about Roe versus Wade is just like that their name sounds like something you do in a boat. Like that is. It's just painful. It's worse. It's worse than Mike Tony Heath talking about how there's no owls in Seattle. And
There's
I don't
a lot
think,
of owls in Missouri.
We are not editing that one out because Mike Tony Heath, I love you. You actually, I even complimented him the other day. He had a really good set, and I was like, dude, that was a good set. Mike Tony Heath, you're very funny. That owl bit, I do not like it. I've got a lot of bits that are not funny, so like I'm not the fucking arbiter of funny bits that are like whatever. But that is, there's no owls in Seattle, dude. That's just like that's like us saying that's like going to McDonald's and wondering why they don't sell computers. Like just it's not an observation. It's just
I saw an owl in Mukilteo.
I actually got so another thing that I was saying why the owl bit got me mad is because I got attacked by an owl like 2 weeks ago in a Seattle park.
Really?
So I was like, there are owls here. Okay, so there's two problems with this joke. One of them is that you're in the middle of a city. Okay, so there's of course no owls. And another two, there are owls.
Yeah, Mike. Come on.
Yeah, so the problem with the joke is both that there are no owls, and that's an obvious statement of fact, and there are owls.
I like Mike's look. He just has.
Oh, it's great.
He has the look of like a Saturday Night Live comic. He has that.
Oh, yeah.
The bright blue eyes, the little kind of mullet, curly-ish hair.
No, he's great.
The mustache.
Yeah. And then I even noticed he's like, he didn't even have a joke. He's just like, I'm just a guy. I look like a guy who has just another podcast. And I was like, yes. That is so funny.
I think a lot of people need to lay into their characteristics more. You said the same thing to me a long time ago, trying to figure out who you are. And I think that's what's making a lot of people stand out. PJ, obviously, he's bald, he's gay, he's trans, he's got pink clothing.
Yeah, very gay.
Nick
very
Cody,
gay man.
Nick Cody is also gay, but very tall.
Yeah.
I'm gay.
Nick Cody has hair.
I'm gay. I got bleached hair.
Nick Cody was that was my favorite too. Last Tapped Out, shout out Tapped Out.
Yeah, that was fun.
Nick did a set, and then once the show is over, 3 hours later, Nick goes up and does more stuff. And he was just like, he was super drunk at this point, so now he's just telling us things. Like he's like, I was gonna get a haircut, but I'm not anymore. It's like good stuff. Great. I've way to say what we're all thinking.
I love the Tapped Out shows though. The last one was pretty fun, even though the Christian guy from the Linwood. Linwood paper. He said that my jokes fell flat.
Right. Well, he didn't say. Someone from his church did, which is why we need to start a fucking cult, dude. Like
the Church of
PJ.
I mean, he's already got to be president.
The ketamine church.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely believe in God if I was on ketamine all the time. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just believe in demons. But I don't. There's no God. Just fucking demons.
So, who do you think was kind of cold to you who warmed up to you later?
Oh, Femi, for sure. But I knew that was going to happen. I didn't know he was actually going to warm up this much. Like, Femi is like really a good friend at this point. So I didn't think it would get this far. But when I first met him, and I was like, and see, what's funny is like, here we can edit out this one. Is always like, Femi, you don't like me, da da da. And I'm like, dude, Femi likes people. Like Femi, and I could just tell when I first met him. I'm like, this guy is like super judgmental and cold, which I don't even think he's that judgmental, but it just feels like he is. But I was like, I just know, like, I could just tell by the way that he goes up there and he's like, sometimes he'll get real authentic on stage. And I'm like, this guy's just like an honest guy. And like, if I just stick around and just be myself, like he'll at least not hate me like it feels like he does. And the fact of the matter is he doesn't actually, I've never actually really heard him talk shit. Like, I hate more people than him.
Well, I feel the same way. In the beginning, I was a little nervous around him because I thought he was I actually thought he was like one of the big top comedians in Seattle,
Yeah.
which in my heart he is. But he definitely, I feel like he might have been fucked with growing up or something. So he kind of has his guard up a little bit.
Well, you know, it's crazy. Like speaking of that, because I'm thinking about how my perspective and worldview on the comedy scene shifted. Because I too, like, I remember when I get in there, and I think people probably thought that about me. That's why, like, you know, there'd be those dumb whores who thought I was like something bigger than I was. But there's like all these people in comedy that are like, oh, that guy is probably killing it. He's probably. I remember somebody called Jason McBride. They're like, oh, well, he's a working comic. like that's so when you get in the scene, that's probably how backwards Seattle is.
Yeah,
is like, so to actually a new fresh set of eyes, all these people that are like stuck, people are like, wow, those guys are probably killing it. And then they realize, oh no, the people that are killing it are like you know, who does a comedy once every month.
She's one of my favorite female comedians. Yeah. There's really nobody out of this area that's making a huge impact. I don't want to diminish the work that's going on, but
Nate Jackson.
I mean, Nate Jackson it was awesome being able to see him sit down there. I think a lot of what his success has been attributed to is also TikTok. The 20 years that he's been doing comedy has definitely prepared him for this, but he definitely said TikTok has definitely helped him blown up a little bit. But other than that, I see all these shows going on at like these, you know, there we go again, these halls, you know, these
oh yeah, there's a show at the
Elks Lodges,
underneath at the dentist office,
the Wolf's Lodge,
I did an Elks Club actually.
Yeah,
it was what sucks is I was entitled to, I got paid, but I didn't get my prime rib dinner that I was promised. But no, I actually really liked the Elks Club. It was lots of old white people. I felt like I was felt like I was home. I felt like I was in my grandma's basement. That's what I felt like. And I had some joke about it. I was like, oh, this is like my grandma. I wish I remember. It was like, this is like my grandma's basement, but less racist or something.
Well, I can tell you at least what I like. I really like open mics. I really like performing at the comedy clubs. But these weird kind of in-between things, they're really hit or miss. And I think a lot of times, at least some of the jokes that I tell are a little bit too much for the brewery crowd or the pizza crowd, you know.
Well, it depends. I mean, if there's a comedy show at the pizza show and they're going, like, the pizza place and they go there intentionally to see a comedy show, but I've done, like, comedy at one of the pizza places, and it was just like, they're like, we're just trying to eat some pizza. Will you please stop making fun of women?
But women made the pizza. And it's delicious.
What's up with this pizza place? There's a lot of Mexicans in the kitchen.
But yeah, I agree with you with Femi. He warmed up to me quite a bit, even last night at the little 7-person gathering. He was saying this thing. He was actually revealing way too much. He was saying how he's on one of my close friends on Instagram. So when you see the green story, it's like only certain people get to see it. And he's like, "Oh man, Steven and his daughter's going hiking today."
Also another thing with I don't know if it's like, I don't think PJ cared, but he was talking about how he wants to fuck his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, PJ wants to fuck his mom, makes two of us. And then I actually said, I'm sure it's fine because it's all public, but I was like, her Instagram is Kristen Jacobs photographer. So maybe I'll schedule a photography session. And then Allison Fine was like, oh, I already did that, which is cool. Shout out to Allison Fine, who she had a conversation outside of Local 907 on Monday with PJ. And it actually made PJ cry with joy. Because she was saying, like, oh, I think you're a great guy. Like, she's like, I don't like your comedy all the time, but that doesn't mean that I don't like you, and I really hope you succeed.
I really hope that that's what Allison feels about me, too, because I honestly, I really don't want to make people feel bad.
No,
I'm
I
just
don't either.
trying to make people laugh. I think that's and maybe we're wrong, but I feel like maybe that's what certain people think about me or you or PJ.
Well, which is crazy because like I had two people that said I got banned for. Two people came up to me that not people I know, not my friends who seem like they think I'm funny, but actual like rando strangers, and they were like, "Dude, good set. Like this, there hasn't been a good set all night." And so they're like, "Good set." And then, so like, and I actually I've been getting that. It's funny because. I mean, then I'm not saying this because I'm like bragging or boast cocky because like I'm always like, oh, I need to quit comedy, and then someone will like pull me aside like 3-4 times now. Random strangers will pull me aside and be like, I need to tell you something. Like you need to keep doing this, and you got something. So that's always really cool. But like people think I don't know. Like I do not love myself. I do not go around like thinking, oh, I'm such a good comic. I'm doing so well. Like literally I do the opposite. It wasn't until like 2 weeks ago where I snapped out of suicidality for the millionth time. And I had to like think about this year and I was like, oh, I've actually accomplished a lot, and I've actually been successful with women, even though I tell myself I'm not. And I've been successful in comedy, even though I tell myself I'm not. Like I have to like make an active effort to like tell myself I'm not this horrible, disgusting piece of shit who needs to die. So like, you don't need to do that for me, okay?
I think a lot of us kind of feel the same way, and I will just say personally for me is, not to get too deep into it, but I really felt like before I started doing this whole thing that I had no real purpose, and everything that I tried to do just felt like a failure, whether it was playing in a band or designing clothes or doing vlogs on YouTube. Always trying to be as creative as possible. And then, but moving up here to Washington, being around all these people I don't know, trying to make friends with like the people you work with. And then finally starting to do this comedy thing. It's like, wow, I get it. And like, these are people like me. These are
weirdos.
Every single person that, well, I guess that I have a bar on what I consider funny and not funny, but every person that I like that I think is funny has that element of they're a little crazy, they're a little emo. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of them because they're in their own space. And I mean, the amount, not just the comedy, but the friendships it's really enriched my life quite a bit. And
yeah, comedy definitely, even though you've seen me go super, super low, like,
yeah,
I didn't have any highs or lows. Like, so for like 2 years before comedy, I had gotten off meth and I was just like not doing shit. And I actually thought that I was becoming asexual and my dick didn't work. It turns out I was just depressed, and I'm straight, and my dick does work. So it took comedy to figure that out.
Yeah, the funny bone has been activated.
I was just that depressed. I was like not attracted to anything anymore, and I couldn't even get hard.
Yeah,
and I was literally like, oh, I guess I'm just like asexual now.
And folks, he's hard now. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah,
it's very distracting.
It actually does look like a tiny little,
just a tiny
little Tootsie Pop.
But yeah, we like to joke around and have fun. But I'm glad that we are finally doing something like this. I think it's important that people realize that we're not edgelords. We're not here to make people uncomfortable or unhappy. We just like a certain type of comedy.
Like, be myself, man. Like, and hey, I'm sorry myself makes you uncomfortable. You know, like, guess what? Me too. You know, you don't have to live with me. So
there are people that I really enjoy that also make me uncomfortable. John Banning is a person that I highly enjoy. That I couldn't. I'm very sad that we haven't seen him around for a long time.
I see him all the time, dude. I can't get rid of that fucker. And PJ, too. He's unshakable, we call him. Like,
yeah.
I ran into him at the Wendy's. Like, I was just, like, doing a DoorDash, and then next thing I know, John Banning's like, I'm like, are you... And PJ was like, you need to check your car for a tracker. Because that guy, he's... That's why he made a good cop, that's for sure.
Well, you got any plans coming up in the near future?
Yeah, feeding a cat in Mukilteo, and I'm already late.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm featured at the Whiskey Mile on 7th.
Whiskey Mile, there is also It's Okay to Laugh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's like the most important one. We had a huge success last time. We sold 120 tickets. We way overpaid the comics. What else? Well,
it was at the world famous Capitol Saloon, Central Saloon, a famous venue that's been in Seattle for a very long time. You had a successful show there before. You're going to have another one. You and Ryan Padilla have been collaborating on a podcast called It's Okay to Laugh, interviewing different comedians in the area, talking about specific medical or mental disabilities.
Yeah.
Would they even be considered disabilities if they don't hold you back?
They're called superpowers.
Yeah. And I did a little thing on there. I know there's Jeremy McDonald was on there. Yeah. You've been on quite a few episodes, so I'm excited. The whole thing about people kind of give me the nickname Comedy Simp, which I don't even know if I am anymore because there's other people now that are in the scene that are even more comedy simps than me. But I actually, Sage.
Don't edit that out either.
No.
We need to be...
No, I'm only going to edit out certain people.
We need to edit that one out.
Oh. Yeah. For now.
Yeah, until she's a supporter.
But, I forgot what I was saying now.
You know.
Like I said, the comedy simp thing, I really enjoy... I really try to encourage other people. You know, I think it's because you told me I grew up being in a band and I want to be successful with my bandmates, I want my friends to be successful. But yeah, I enjoy PJ's podcast. I listen to Jay and Jack Slattery's podcast. I like that one.
I'm having Instagram Reels go viral lately.
Instagram Reels.
2 now.
Doris is putting together this little show.
I like Instagram Reels. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know what we're talking about, but let's talk about my success.
Let's talk about Instagram Reels. Did you see the one where... No. But... Yeah, I'm going to keep making more of these so we can tell people who we are.
Next time I'll do a character again.
And really, this whole thing is just to promote our shows so we can become big famous comedians.
I don't care about that.
And also, I want to have this.
I
want to have a platform to interview all my favorite Seattle comedians.
I want to figure out a way to make money doing this, even if that's. I don't know. I thought I could do it selling drugs. To be honest with you, I was like, if I can sell drugs in the comedy scene and make money. But what happened was I would just do drugs that I bought to sell. And then like every once in a while someone would be like, hey, and then I'm like, all right, this is a waste. I'm going to stop doing this. And then someone would hit me up. Hey, do you have any drugs? And I'd be like, guess I'll go re-up. And then I'd sell a tiny bit of drugs and then I just do the rest.
Well, before we end this, I'm inspired by another podcast I heard, and I want you to think of 3 people in Seattle or Tacoma, whatever. 3 people you think are going to rise in the comedy scene. Not necessarily become successful, but they're going to become better. They're going to be booked more. They're going to become more popular. but not necessarily successful. 3 people.
Fucking what's his name? That other girl and so and so. No, God, what is his name? What am I forgetting his name? The Mexican guy, who's very funny. He's yes,
Dude, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
dude, he's funny. You have to pay. You just don't. You're just sleeping on him like everybody
I'm
else.
sorry. Every time. Oh, I've only really seen him at 4Bs, and
No, dude, I'm telling you, he's got some funny stuff.
It's been really terrible.
Who else? Danny Anderson.
Yeah, Danny. Yeah,
We don't have a lot of. Okay,
I'm
mean,
surprised that he does 25 minutes. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just doing people like that. Like I'm saying that are gonna like do well in Seattle. I think I actually do believe that PJ's podcast is going somewhere.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
It's inspiring more podcasts.
We'll say PJ.
Yeah. I think really who's going to rise? I think there's going to be some female. Some female's going to rise. I don't know who yet. Maybe Doris, just because she's she's connected to a lot of people and she's interviewing a lot of people, and she already gets booked on certain shows.
She liked my interview.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the so there was this kid, so she interviewed me and Nick and Peter Artman.
Yeah.
And then this kid is like, hey, you want to interview me? I'm a really good comedian. And she's all, sure. And then interviews him. And then he proceeds to go up and just bomb terribly. Like,
yeah. Don't say you're a good comedian. I would never do that.
I don't know what his name is. He was this little guy who's probably like 22. And he just kept talking extremely fast, like could not stop, like over and over again. So 2 more people.
And then we'll end this shit.
Yeah. 2 more people who are going to rise this year. I mean, besides me, I like.
See, it's hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people are really going to rise.
Just say 2 fake names of like, just be like.
Yeah.
And just say that and then blur out the names.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this,
like and subscribe.
Yeah, and follow Rob Conroy Inc. on Instagram, Stephen MJ Comedy on Instagram, and Seattle comedy is not real comedy.
No.